You die tomorrow, I swear someone is gonna fill your role. Honest. It's really that. Do you understand? And I already know we've been in. Cause I know you ain't said nothing and you're smiling. You're a chief. Talk now. It's the microphone, man.
Don't start. Because what time did you get here?
Wait, so are you on the mic as well now?
10 minutes ago.
No, I'm not on the mic.
Chief. Apache thing.
No, I'm not on the mic.
Cherokee thing.
He's nothing to say this whole episode. He has nothing.
All right, I won't talk. Let's see how that goes.
Not talk, but
let's see how that goes.
You got no chat for anyone, is what he's trying to say.
No chat for no.
I've not said. You know what's mad? I didn't start any of this.
Good. Just know you're good.
Oh god. Oh god. Well, shit. Since we're in,
we're back.
Since we're in,
man said since we're in. Good evening.
Back.
Good evening.
The Experimentation podcast.
Yes.
It's your boy. No, it's not your boy. It's Jerry the Kid,
the
aka
man.
Return of the Kid.
Woy.
What's good?
Big Woy.
Come on.
And it's Big L.A. Aaaand's RBG. You get me?
The one and only.
I was gonna even say L.A.
The one and only.
Come on, we're there, man.
I like that.
There, man.
Okay, that could be the yeah.
I mean, apologies for being late. I'll get out the way now. Had a hectic day.
And he's smiling about it as well. He's not apologizing.
I have apologized.
You know what it is? I remember the episode we did with what's your brethren? Mars. Yeah.
I did it on camera,
and
he was late that day again.
Me.
It wasn't me.
It was me. But you look on to me. Today I'm gonna keep it chill because
you can get on to me, but I had a legitimate reason.
We're going to him later tonight.
Yeah, later.
I actually had a legitimate reason though.
It's fine,
It's fine, man. We don't want to hear
We're
let's get to the topic.
No, we're back today after it's under a year, but it's been
a long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been a what?
It's
I'd say
so
between
long.
5 to 7 months. It's more than that.
No, we've been more.
It's been more than that because we
June
started
2021.
Swear down.
Yeah.
And it's now March
2022.
Which is how long is that now? I'm not good.
Neither, man.
Quick maths.
Someone has to do the
I'm not
maths.
really
Can someone on the back there, production, can you let us know?
Man said production, shall I flag kick
This has gone left from the moment that's recorded, you know.
Oh my god. Nah, but yeah, it's good to be back.
No. I'm not happy with this intro. L, we're getting on to you, bro.
You could do it. I don't
3
care.
hours.
Wait.
What time are we supposed to start?
6.
What time is it now?
It's like 9:30. But I already explained. You know what's mad? I actually explained myself off camera. And I'm not going to explain it on camera.
No, there can't be no explanation for 3.5 hours.
Yes, there is. I told you.
No, we've heard it, but I'm not.
And you know what's mad? You know what's mad?
You heard it, but I'm not having it.
And you know what's crazy? I could have came in and actually lied. And I didn't. I told you actually. That's what's so mad. I'd have came here and lied, you'd have got onto me. I've come into...
What would the lie be though?
Yeah, what would the lie be?
The lie could have been something mad. It could have been something amazing.
Yeah.
I could have made...
I
could have said anything. You go, oh, bro, you actually okay? Because in terms of this one, it's like, oh, what? I guess work.
Yeah, I have zero... man. Trust me to pick the wrong one. I have zero...
Why does he not have a mic? I'm so mad right now.
I have zero sympathy for you.
That's fine.
Zero.
Just know that if these roles reverse, all right then.
No, but we wouldn't boy it for 3.5. Imagine I left you outside the studio for 3.5 hours.
You've been late before though.
No, not 3.5 hours.
You've been late. I swear down, you've been late. You've been. There's been times where I've been left out for a solid hour and a half at least.
Oh.
That's not a lie. I know that's not a lie.
Hour and a half.
Oh shit! Excuse me.
Why are you swearing on? You're swearing on microphone already, you know.
No, because I burped. And I know how powerful this mic
YouTube money
is.
I got.
Do you know what I mean? No one else will know, but when you're hearing the audio back, people are going to be like, hey, whoa.
Why am I hearing this intestine?
Who the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
That was mad. That's going to be so clear. That's going to be
bro. Yeah. No, but there has been times when and it's lucky we were filming like close to summer, innit? Because I'd have been outside, but it wasn't cold. Well, I'm outside the studio. Either you're snoring in here or you're out. You're on your way back. You're on your way back.
You know what's mad?
Yeah, that's the ones when I was doing the back-to-backs, man.
It's just there's a lot of things that I have to go away and think about still. And I need to work some things out, honestly. So but I've apologized for my lateness. I'm not sure how to make it up to them right now because just came in and just filmed straight away. You know them ones there?
Hey, man.
I'll work it out.
Don't worry, drinks on you all night.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be drinking. That is going to hurt my pocket a lot.
It's cool, man. Well, I mean, hey, speaking of, how have we been since the last time since the last time we recorded?
What was our last episode?
June, you said, didn't it?
No, which one was
it was very controversial still.
Well, not controversial at all.
It was controversial.
What was controversial?
It's been edited. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
No, but what was the...
the Assassin.
T don't want. It's been one of them ones.
Yeah, no. Yeah, for real. How have we been since then?
Super busy.
Yeah.
I've been booked and busy.
Mm-hmm.
Booked and busy.
That's, I mean,
what's work saying for you, man? How many jobs you juggling now?
4.
Yeah, it's still 2.
Nah, man, 5. I like secretly.
I mean, within that, it's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't even know now. But, you know,
Blood.
We're here, man. We're here.
Let's actually introduce this properly, please.
No, this is the intro, fam. What else can we do?
Jerry does not want
I told you he hates them. You know what's mad? Beforehand, I had my thing ready, but they threw me off, man. I'm so mad about that. But let's start, man.
Yeah,
we came here to talk. So the initial discussion, which his hilarious title, I will let you say, because I think it's so funny.
I forgot the title, bro.
Well, I think it's 3 albums versus
16
25 mixtapes.
25 mixtapes. Sorry, bro. It was before when I had to...
So, what do you say it was, sorry?
Oh, when you're waiting for Elle to call you. So you put it on loud earlier. Yeah, I remember. Carry on.
This is going to be the whole episode.
2 albums, 3 albums versus 16 mixtapes. It's
not hilarious.
It's funny because I think it wasn't even on like the current generation. I was more talking about like artists, legendary artists that came up on the mixtape.
Okay.
I was more, and I think it was specifically like Lil Wayne, who has had the mixtape run and has...
There's a lot of artists that had the mixtape run, especially in regards to the early 2000s mixtape. Mm-hmm. That was an era. So Clue, MV, that was an era. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when people started to really take note of the mixtape. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we can delve into the history of the mixtape and its initial formation, which is essentially just mixtapes in CD cassettes.
Uh-huh.
It originates from tape decks and cassette players. It's that far back. So
is that when they were like they used to take from different tapes, innit?
And different takes, they will record it on the tape and cut part of the tape. So it goes back to the initial origin of hip hop. Mm-hmm. So Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, them man there, do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's obviously now a mixtape is a certified body of work. And that's kind of the mere distinction now. And I think that era you was referring to, so the Lil Waynes, the 50 G-Unit era, was where it was a career-defining moment. As in, you would flood the streets with mixtapes to get your name out there and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, as soon as you flooded the streets, you would go countrywide. Uh-huh. So the first place in terms of America is New York. Mm-hmm. Had to bust New York. Uh-huh. If you didn't bust New York,
busting nowhere.
Pre-2000 and... How long did that last? I'd say about pre-2007, 2008. I'd say past that. Pre-2010, if you didn't come New York to radio and work the record and actually work it, as in go to this station, flex, and go see all the DJs them, your record weren't moving, bro.
That's interesting because of like where the history of like hip hop was at that moment, or like rap per se, because I think like 90s West Coast had established itself, and then
firmly, very firmly,
and then there was acts from the South that were starting to like, you know, shout like, we're here, we're doing
They were
our thing.
moving units, as in the early to mid to late 2000s, the South was moving units. Even artists like Young Jock, who is not considered a hip hop elite, was selling millions of records, bro. That's the type of, because of their sound is so distinct, and there's the loyalist fan base out there, made them move heavy units, and that's because they fed the streets with the mixtape series. So each rapper kind of has their mixtape series that is iconic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
but then you're saying to still flood the streets, it's got to go from New York first.
At that point. Because obviously music has changed.
Are we still talking about the 2000s? Or?
Yeah, during the 2000s. Because the 2000s, so obviously during the 2000s, you had the slump in the whole industry. I think it was around 2007.
Was it to do with like the digital
Napstar,
era? Yeah.
iTunes, record labels were lost for words. As in, there was like a 5 to 10 year abyss of...
Did it align with this?
The streaming?
Yeah.
No,
streaming came...
There was a 5 to 10 year abyss of no one really sold that much anymore. And the whole industry was kind of in a frenzy of what do we do?
Yeah.
Because records was our industry.
Were people still touring then?
Yes, and that saved the entire music industry. If there was no touring back then, for example, let's say there was a COVID back then, there might not be no music industry. Because no one was selling records, bro. No one. I'd say from about 2000, I'm trying to gauge of when people stopped selling records. I'd say about 2000 and maybe 12 to about 2000. Even then people were selling units, but not the same numbers, innit? Because remember, 50 Cent went diamond. That's 10 times platinum. G-Unit sold a mil first week. In fact, I'm not saying a mil first week, but platinum. Banks got silver and gold records. Buck, I've also got... That's the way man are selling. Do you understand? You can't really distinguish between albums and mixtapes.
Well...
Because I think that's an interesting trajectory of where things have gone.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I was going to say, before we even talk about that, like the era we're in now and how we define that, like mixtapes and albums and who does what, like some of the more like iconic acts within like rap. Like I was talking about 50 Cent, like his come up was through like mixtape, like him distributing it and then people like hearing his name and more and more and more. Like without that and without how the sort of like, how it's engineered, how you actually distribute mixtapes and actually get your name off of that. Like, how did he... Would you say like he sort of pioneered that mentality of like, you now have to have that, you know, you have to flood the streets with mixtapes, like free music essentially to get your name out there, like no matter what sort of level it was at. Because essentially, without the backing of like, let's say like a major label or anything, the quality... Because I personally haven't heard like mixtape 50 Cent before, but, you know, I know that it's before...
So I'll explain a little bit of the context of the history. So 50 was signed in 98, 99. And he had the song How to Rob. I don't know if you lot have heard the song How to Rob, where he talks about a bag of rappers. And it's kind of the same premise as the song by Nicki Minaj, where she would sleep with rappers as a joke. That same premise of... if I had such and such, it's the same premise. Of like, I'm gonna rob the rappers in the industry. I'm not really gonna do it, but if I was to do it, and it's not just rappers, it was R&B singers, execs, everybody in it. Part of the black urban music industry in America. So 50 got shot in 2000 after he made the song. I'm not gonna say what the song is. There's a bag of street politics into the song. It's got nothing to do with me. But it's better left unsaid because it's done, innit? Yeah. People gone jail about it, whatever. If you know the song, you know the history, we can get into that another time. But he got shot behind the song 9 times, which is an infamous story, right? His label dropped him. His label was Columbia, I think. We can double check that and correct it if need be, but I think it's Columbia. So Columbia dropped him. It was either Columbia or Interscope. I don't remember. I think it's Columbia.
Well, who he got signed to after
was Dre, M and them lot.
And were they at
through Interscope?
Yeah,
so I don't think it was Interscope.
No,
I'm almost certain it's Columbia. Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. Then he had to work himself up from being shot, recover and stuff. So that happened. Doing that, him and Banks and Tony Yayo were all from Queens. They started to flood the mixtape. So he'd already been doing the mixtape thing before, but it didn't have the same effect. Now he had the street kind of certified cred on top of them lot putting out mixtapes all the time. I don't remember the name of the series off the top of my head, but there was a mixtape series they kept putting out. I think it's called Guess Who's Back.
Okay.
Volume 1, and they just kept doing it. And M or Marshall Mathers heard it and then signed 50 off that basis.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how 50 did it was a street model of I'm going to flood the streets. If you see you have drugs, whatever, or whatever, I have a product. Let's just say it's like marketing. And I'm just going to, in this radius, I know you all like this. I'm going to give you it all the time. And it's kind of like a fix. You come back. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what kind of is.
But he's giving it to, like, who's he giving it to? Is it more the industry people?
It starts off with friends and family.
Right.
Then it starts off with your hood, your neighborhood.
Okay.
Expands
like snowball into,
Because we have to remember, this is pre-internet.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Pre-YouTube. Yeah. There's no way to mass market unless you're on a label. Or you have a fly marketing scheme. Like, I know a guy in the South, I don't remember the name off his top of my head, that had like his phone number on the music video, that they were calling the video, and they sold a bag of records because of that, blood. I don't remember the guy's name, so please forgive me. If you watch it in the comments, then please update me, you get me? But yeah, so that's one way. So I saw a clip of the late, great, God bless the dead, Nipsey Hussle, Nipsey Hussle was talking about the advice he got from 50, because obviously a guy from Def Jam said to Nipsey, I love this album he put out. It was Crenshaw, innit? It's Crenshaw. And he was like, but you should have made it your album. He was like, no, because I spoke to 50 and 50 gave me this one piece of advice. He's like, if you have no sales history, as in they can't judge your first album and it did like 20K or 30K, 100K, then you have more negotiating, bargaining power. Does that make sense?
If you don't have the sort of sales record.
If you have the streets talking or the industry talking and you have no number to be bogged down to, to negotiate how much your deal will be worth.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what he said. Just keep putting out mixtapes until you can negotiate your label number to be the highest price ever. So when you do drop your first album, there's going to be that anticipation surrounding it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So he said that to Nipsey in a different era where there's now the internet. And the industry's had to adapt.
But it's still not as prevalent. Nipsey was rapping 2009, 2010.
Oh, okay.
A long, long time, flooding the streets with mixtapes. And he used the 50 model of my hood is going to get it first. They're going to their family members who live out there and out there and out there. And now we're going to get a buzz surrounding it. All organic, because there was no internet. Now the streets, in multitude of different ways, is the internet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, for better or for worse, the streets are the internet. There's no separating the two. But beforehand, you only had the streets. So, if your thing was popping in the streets, you were booming. People was talking about you being signed next. Because that's what label A&Rs used to do. The A&Rs used to come to the hoods and look for the new talent. Not go on TikTok, not go on wherever the streaming or Vine, if it was then back in the day. Because nowadays there's not much A&Ring going on. What's this person's numbers on Instagram? What's this person's numbers on TikTok? That's how songs are gauged of being big, you know. I swear, like, you lot know the type of people I'm in meetings with. That's what they're talking about. So that's why 50's advice to Nip at the time was perfect, because it encapsulated his era and going into the new, because it still works in the newer era. It's just you need to have the buzz around your name. Like Nipsey's thing helped again because he was very authentic. Same thing as 50. 50 was super authentic to what he was portraying at the time. So that's where I feel like the mixtape era now is now not as important because the lines have been blurred. Does that make sense? And the reason why I don't think we'll see another classic mixtape series is because the importance of mixtapes is not as important. People don't care about if it's a mixtape or an album. They just want music.
Content.
And they don't even really care about projects. Care about singles. In terms of the masses. Only music lovers like us care about projects.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that as a fact.
Okay, so...
Go on, sorry.
As audience members, general music listeners now, especially when we're talking about like the streets, the people that are like closest to them and that can get the access to the music where, you know, they're giving out mixtapes to their peoples, then their peoples are sharing it around and people are hearing about it. That's where you'll get artists who, you know, when people talk of their name, they're like, oh yeah, from these ends, he's doing this thing. Their status quickly, I feel like probably in this era now, they're throwing around like big titles to people that we would probably say don't really deserve it.
But that's the new era is that though.
Yeah.
It's all about gas and hype. Nothing is based on substance. That's the real talk of it. For example, you see a cult figure like Nines, and Nines is most certainly a cult figure. It's because you've seen him in the hood go and pass out turkeys. You've gone and seen him in the hood do this. His fan base is cult-like. When he comes back in 26 months or whenever it is, you know, he will sell, he'll do 1 million on YouTube in like 3-4 days.
Could see that, yeah.
He used to do that regularly in like a week on SBTV, being an unsigned artist. The whole labels were dumbfounded, you know. The music industry for years didn't get Nines. Didn't understand him at all. They were literally like...
But do you feel like he had that American method?
He had the American method and he also had the American stigma. So if you see you have the Chief Keef stigma of, I brought my whole hood and they're going to be violent and you're going to lock off shows. So it's not just the Chief Keef stigma, it's the same stigma Giggs had. You see Giggs' stigma of he used to get shows locked up, not him, but his shows, he was never allowed to perform. Nines had that stigma, but 10 times worse. Because his beef was super active. Or still is super active. Do you get what I'm saying? And again, if you know that situation, you know that situation. We don't need to delve into the histories of that because that's for the streets. It's not our place to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Nines is an artist, again, who's come out of last era into this era and is now fashioning a thing. But that's because he's still got the game of last era. So he grew up on the 50s. He may have even played the Nipseys. He might play Dolph and them lot. Very unlikely. But his artists he grew up on were like 50 and Game and them lot. Rappers. And that's where you're probably mostly going to see it from, the rappers. Of the mixtapey stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a next artist who I think has done that in project-wise, I can't even say his name, can I?
What's his name?
Who is it?
Travis Scott.
Oh
no, I can. Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Travis Scott. Yeah, he's the next artist.
You're moving like
Oh, I know why you
Work.
thought you
That's
could.
what I'm
Okay,
moving
okay.
like flipping work. I'm looking like
no, not even that. Like what?
That we're bleeping out.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That we're actually bleeping out. Like the first one, that can work out. We're actually bleeping. Timestamp killer.
Timestamp killer. 5 minutes 53 seconds.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah. As I was saying,
Clap.
let's give a black hand. As I was saying, Travis Scott is another one that's cultivated his fan base is crazy.
Yeah.
I still to this day don't get it. Part of the reason he's in problems now is because he's a superstar. Superstars have the problems he's got. And obviously, rest in peace to those families there because that's a tragic event, innit? You get me? But superstars get those problems. A man that can't pack out a venue don't get them problems. Do you get me? So that's what I'm saying about if you build your fan base and cultivate it to that point, you're able to demand stuff. You're able to sell stuff. If you're able to convince people something, you can sell them anything. There's generally people in this world who can convince you that piss is apple juice.
Huh?
I swear down, honest.
Say again?
You weren't listening.
I'll say it again. There's people in this world that are so good at selling, at marketing, that they can convince you that actual piss is actually apple juice. And you'll drink apple juice.
I thought I heard him say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you were still... Okay.
No, I was listening. I was like, huh?
Yeah, you know what it was? It was just... That's a harsh word. That to hear piss...
And apple juice.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hear that.
Exactly. So, but my point of saying that is to say that some people have that oil snake salesman ability. So Kanye is one. Kanye is the biggest.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Of making people buy stuff that they wouldn't normally buy.
Okay, so are we talking his music or his clothes? Because that's
anything that. Anything Kanye says or does, there's a following behind it.
Essentially, what the way I want to steer the conversation is
back to mixing. I'll get back to that. I'm just telling you, artists, that if they would have used the mixtape model more, they might have had success. The only difference is they're not street rappers. Those two rappers I named are not street rappers. So the mixtape method usually works for street rappers the best because you have to give it to a direct-to-consumer audience before streaming, before the internet. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we have so many ways to digest music. We don't need a mixtape CD.
Yeah.
It's actually obsolete to an extent.
It is.
No, there's people in their car who have CDs in their cars.
Yeah, in their cars.
Honest.
Yeah.
But the same way now, there'll always be a place for mixtapes because you see in radio, the pandemic, everyone was like, radio's gonna die. Because who's gonna go?
Bro. Bro.
The same thing will happen with the mixtape. It will reinvent itself. You see how it's already reinvented itself in the sense of now artists are calling full on...
Leave the bottle.
Yeah, it's making noise. There's artists making full on bodies of work, masterpieces, and calling them mixtapes.
Ooh, who?
I'm trying to... This is off the top of my head.
You've not said masterpiece.
I thought Dave. 6 Paths is a tape. It's an EP. It's not an album.
How about Sench?
Central C.
He just got a #1.
He's a superstar.
Was that an album or a mixtape?
Mixtape.
It's a mixtape.
It's a mixtape.
That's another artist that benefits from that.
Independent.
Me personally,
well done.
I don't have to like a man's music.
Superstar at the moment, isn't he?
He's a UK superstar.
Yeah.
And that's
Number
a conversation
one.
that we can get into of what constitutes superstardom.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's important. Because I think this new generation...
So Solid were superstars in their time?
That they were the superstars, full stop. Full stop. They were the superstars, full stop. They are the archetype of what a UK rap superstars are.
Mm-hmm.
We're not... That's what I'm saying. That's why there's two different discussions. Because I think if you can't move units, you can't be a superstar, honest.
Yeah, no, that has to be in there.
If you can't sell music, this is why I was watching the Joe Budden podcast the other night, and I had this conversation.
Yeah.
Talking about superstardom.
Yeah.
And people that are just famous are not superstars.
How about...
People that are YouTubers are not musical superstars just because they make music.
No.
KSI is not a musical superstar. Do you get me?
No.
Who else am I? All them lot that are now making music. There's enough of them.
TikTok lot, yeah, nah.
They're not superstars. And I don't mean it to disparage them. I mean it in a way of you've not done the musical works to be in the conversation. Dave is a musical superstar. Storms is a... Blood. Your mum, like your next door neighbour's mum, their nan knows who Stormzy is. Stormzy's a superstar and there's no debate.
Is it from the moment that they cross over from...
No.
Because the example you gave KSI, he wasn't originally a musician. He was just on YouTube, like, filming himself, like, playing FIFA.
He's a YouTube superstar.
YouTube superstar.
He's not a music superstar. Hell no.
Okay. Can superstar not encompass more than just the one
Yeah, but
medium?
I'm making the conversation specific. Because I could say Cardi B is a superstar. I can see Meg Thee Stallion is a superstar. They're not musical superstars. They're not. That's a fact. They don't.
Well, Cardi B.
There's one that's got 1 album
Yeah.
and 3 diamond singles. Or not even that platinum singles, sorry. That's not. You sold 1 album, blood.
Okay. Well, okay. No. So I see where you're coming from because with the music, it's not. Yeah.
You gotta do that at least 2-3 times before. Like Kendrick is a global superstar. Cole is a global superstar. Drake, you already know. You man know Drake.
Need to have that discussion. We know.
Nicki Minaj is a humongous superstar.
Yes.
That was me.
That's crazy.
But anyway. Yeah, that. Anyway.
The mic can't hear you. The mic can't hear you, so it's fine. It's fine.
Don't do that.
It's fine.
Very rude.
Don't do that.
Hey, this is true.
As I was saying, so tying it back to our original conversation, I think it's better to go the album route. Because the album route, I feel, is more sustainable than mixtapes. Because after you put out a bag of mixtapes, you can get forgotten. Your mixtapes have to be fire, and it has to get the streets talking. That's 2 prerequisites to your mixtape series lasting. Do you get me? Like, Training Day 1, 2, and 3. That's another one. Of like...
He's a fan, yeah.
That's a series that's conceptual. It makes sense.
Trilogy.
Do you understand? It's like storytelling. So that's what you see. Pot of Paper has a cult-like fan base. And DB is another example of cult fans that will follow him to do anything. That's what you need in this music thing to succeed. You don't need the hot new single. Because we're going to forget about you in 2 weeks.
Hey, was Good Kid, Mad City...
It was a full-on album. It was a debut album. It was his major label debut. His first album was Section 8. No, it wasn't. Overly Dedicated.
Overly Dedicated, that's it, yeah.
Was the first TDE thing. The major label debut was Good Kid, Mad City. That's a classic.
That was the... Oh.
That's a classic.
So Section 80, what?
Section 8 was the build-up to Good Kid.
Yeah, so it was a TDE thing, but it was not his major label debut.
But it was an album?
Definitely, I'm 90% sure it was an album. I mean, that's what I might as well check. Like, there's photos there.
Was it an album?
I'm almost certain.
I thought it was.
That's an album.
Or was it... And...
We shall see.
Because was TDE under distribution or were they under...
Because TDE was originally independent, as you know. Yeah. Then the Aftermath Interscope thing came a little bit later.
It says Section 80 is the debut studio album by American rapper Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, that's studio album.
It was released on July the 2nd, 2011 through Top Dog Entertainment.
Cool. That's what I thought.
Okay,
Section 80.
So what's the difference between studio album and...
So, studio album is just your first album. The major label release is your first album on a major. So Good Kid, Mad City was the first Aftermath Interscope release for Kendrick.
Yeah.
So I hope that makes sense. Somewhat. So TDE by themselves put out that first one you said.
Section 8. Yeah.
Whereas it was distributed by majors the second time round. So you see this whole who's independent conversation gets really convoluted to industry, man, because they know, this person's distributed for here.
Yeah. It's not as simple as, he did it.
But I think, really, apologies to cut you, bro, but I say being independent is just, you have no major label backing in the sense of artistry. Because distribution is distribution.
Yeah.
Distribution is like saying a man is not self-made because he sold stuff on Google or Amazon. That's semantics. Like, what, are we really going to do that?
Yeah, because where are you supposed to go?
Are we really going to do that?
Out there
are we really, or a man is not a superstar because he used YouTube.
In that era, physical copies, bro,
was the thing. And you see how much money that they used to make. Like, people are not telling you the honest truth of, like, the music industry as a whole is not making a lot of money.
Not now. No.
the 5, 6 to 10, 15 artists that are huge, Eds, Taylors, Drakes, Stormzy's, are selling a lot. But once you get down the pecking order, blood,
it's peak.
Tour money is your livelihood. That's why so many artists were barling at lockdown. Because that's their lifeblood. And merch. So Griselda is a sick one for merch. That have tied in their merch and made it like part of their brand.
What did they have as much? What?
Just the t-shirts and shit.
Oh.
And that the branding.
Okay.
And obviously, like, they've all got their separate work. So there's the Black Soprano family for the Butcher. You got, I think it's Drumworks for Conway. Again, I can be corrected. This is just off top of head. And then, yeah, that they've all got their individual brands part of the umbrella. And that's what great labels do. They have their individual brands under the umbrella.
Before you continue, whilst you're on that topic, you might as well shout out your
hoodie. Hoodie, black owned by Dangerous Negro. You get me? That's the actual brand.
You have to.
Yeah, Dangerous Negro. I usually always do that, you know. I haven't done that today.
Oh my god.
You came in the loose one 3.5 hours late.
But hold tight, the family is black owned. You get me, man? I can just come on the camera correct.
Could we get that like on the screen as well?
Yeah.
That's asking for too much.
Like it's a logo that I've got to send them. It's fine.
No, you can just put their at if they have like an Instagram or something.
But yeah.
I'm sure you can come and do it yourself.
I'm so dead. Okay.
As I was saying, I do think that the album route is the safer route to take in this generation.
Safer?
Yeah. Under a major, yes. Independent, you should take the mixtape route.
Because one of the points I wanted to bring up was the mixtape era we live in now, because labels have clocked onto the game that, you know, mixtapes bring, it's a bit more like, we see these artists now, we're just going to have you flood,
so many tapes.
With
so many men that still have not released their debut album.
But these artists, these same artists, like we were talking about before, in a discussion like before we started recording, we live in a microwave music generation. Fast food generation where it's just music getting pumped out and the quality, it's all subjective, but me and you can sit here and say...
I'll sit here and say, dead face on camera, the quality of music has gone down.
It's not it.
That's a fact.
Actually not it. But it's the reason we can talk about the difference between an album and a mixtape, because to me and to you as well, I think, I can't speak for you, but it's the quality. See how the mixtapes from certain artists that have like a following, they're not mixtapes in the sense of we're just pumping like 20, 30 tracks into a thing. We're making conceptual art. We're making a body of work that people will come to and be like, yo. It just
sounds sonically pleasing. It's not even,
exactly.
You don't even have to do the whole Dave concepting, yeah?
Yeah.
All you need to do is put songs together that sonically make sense. I don't get how that's hard if you're a musician.
Well, that's the thing, because musicians you were talking about. So, okay, like a KSI, he's not a musician. He's not a musician. He's a YouTuber. But he's jumped onto the music thing and has said, I see how some of these people are making music. I can try and make music like that. He's tried it, but it's not the same thing because he's not come from that musical background. He's doing a thing where I'm going to use my stardom. I'm assuming this is how he's kind of come with the music.
And everyone's clocked his model and is following him. Do you know how many Love Island... For example, Wes Nelson, for long, like, bro, I tried to hate on your thing. I tried. I tried. I tried to actively hate on Wes Nelson's music and it didn't work.
I like that.
It just started getting better.
I like how we started getting better on here.
As in, I was at what man was showing me the tunes. I was like, bruh, guy's got a little thing going on. Yeah. I'm like, nice to meet you.
I do remember. I like, you know, in the back. Yeah, we're liking.
Yeah, you know, smiling, blood.
Smiling and that. Yeah,
but I still don't take him seriously as an artist, though. But I've said in private conversations to people that he's become an artist. He's got a plaque, blood.
I mean, fair play to him.
That's an artist, blood. Do you know how many men have been doing this for 10 years that have no plaque?
But again, we're talking about
Wes. Nice to meet you.
But like I say, we're having a conversation about like this guy.
I told you that's hard.
Superstars or people, artists that they're not just now they're taking a step into like stardom, and they've built something with their music. So artists like that, they can have their thing where they're doing singles, bare singles, mixtapes. Everyone's got a couple songs from them that they know, but they're not like a Kendrick Lamar where the body of work is like, yo, this is in a top 50, top 10
I'm not saying
discussion.
that you have to be a Kendrick though. Even
no. I know.
A Young Dolph, a Yo Gotti. A Yo Gotti is a great one for
thank you.
A man that puts together pretty good bodies of work. Do you get me? There's a lot of man. Love, thank you, bro. There's a lot of man that's putting together solid albums, even though I might not agree with the lyrical content in a lot of those albums. I won't. I won't say a lie, but conceptually they are very good. A lot of them. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of artists doing that. Like Pusha T is gonna release his album about drugs for the 50 millionth time. Guess what? And guess what I'm gonna do? Listen and enjoy it. Because his articulation and how meticulous are putting it together. You go listen to his second verse of Diet Coke. That's like Picasso of drug dealing rapping. I swear down.
Picasso. Hey.
And I hate to big up fine European art. I hate doing that. But I couldn't think of like an example that is black on the top of my head. But what I mean is that it's high level. And I'm not trying to overvalue European art. What I'm saying is like Basquiat levels of, do you get me?
So the two examples you gave, Young Dolph
yes,
and Pusha T.
Yes.
I feel like I'm not knowledgeable on both of their backgrounds like that, but what I've heard and what we've spoken about with them artists, they're coming from something real.
Oh, first, sorry to cut you, but rest in peace to Young Dolph. 100% rest in peace to Young Dolph. I wasn't trying to carry on about that, but please continue, bro.
Yeah. They're coming from something real, something where they've had impact within their communities. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Pusha T's he's not rapping about like made up things, or he's not like overselling for the purpose of, bigging his name up or anything. This is something
been
that
verified. You can go ask, bruv, like the guy that snitched on him said, Push, not gonna lie. That's mad. There's a song where Push disses that guy, and they still had to say, not gonna lie, like the Clips was giving it up, like the Clips was really them guys. It's a fact. Like, certain things cannot be disputed.
Yeah.
And as much as certain fanboys are gonna be upset at that, that's a real.
It's a certain.
It's true.
Say the name, man. Come on.
Like the Juice Bowl fanboys, man. It's real.
Yeah.
As in, some things you just can't change. And I think I've said to the young artists today, if you get a good concept of a mixtape series, please pursue it. That is what is missing. That's what's missing in the game today, of like conceptual projects. Like there's man going from one project to the next and being 3 different people on these projects. I'm tired of it. Like I want to see your growth and development in the music.
When you said that, I forgot someone's name flashed across my mind.
And obviously, it's hard for me because I listen to so much music a week, that I forget. There's no, you get what I'm saying? And I sometimes get overconsumed of the work artists that I got to deal with. And I forget that there's some really dope music out here. So you see, before I made the statement of the overall thing going down, there's artists that challenge that 100%. For example, I only recently heard Koji Radical. I swear down.
We were just listening to him.
I only recently, I'll put Koji Blood, you're dope. I'd love to chat to you one day, fam. You're sick. And I'm not sure he's ever going to watch this. I just felt like saying it.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe one day, innit?
Oh, I'm saying.
But fam, that guy is amazing. And that's off of like 3-4 songs. I haven't even got to hear the whole project yet. And I can't wait for his new thing to come up. Nuts is the next one.
It's out already. Yeah, it's out.
Was it out? See, I'm slow. See,
I should have said that.
No, but you know what's mad? No, but I got too much music to listen to.
No, yeah.
Fam.
Yeah.
Who's in that? There's so many. Western have not missed in 5 years.
What can I even say about... Have Western actually released a debut album yet?
Hailey, Louis, Akel, Mandem, we need that,
I don't think they have,
I don't know if it's been a debut. I don't know.
Not a debut. They've had projects.
They've had projects,
but not an actual album. I think since 2020, maybe 2021, it's been singles. Maybe.
Oh my, there's
singles.
You see, singles. Afro Bashment and Afro Swing, man, then bring it back, please.
Bring it back, man.
Because Afro B dropped Bluffing the other day. Bomba Clark, that song's too good.
2018, 2019.
The man said, "How you gonna eat when your dogs are starving?" That's a good question. How can you eat when your dogs are dead, hungry belly? How can that happen? How? Big up Afro B, man.
You ain't got the answers.
I'm so
big up Kiz Daniels, though. He came through with the sauce on that thing too, man. That thing's hard, blood.
Oh yeah, he's from back in the day.
Kiz Daniels a dope artist. Kiz Daniel is among my artists, them.
Oh yeah.
Like
we need to create a playlist. That's what we need.
We need an experimentation podcast playlist.
Yeah. No, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it still.
Wait, are you on Spotify as well?
Yeah, of course.
You're on Spotify, innit?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Come on, man. We got that. Hey, people them that's coming. You get me?
Come on.
And yeah, I'm just saying that.
They say that, then you never see it. See that?
No, we will.
No, we'll get to it. But I'm saying the mixtape thing can work to build your hype, and I think it's still a viable space for it. But we need people dropping albums because I do not want to hear this conversation about the albums are becoming devalued in music. Because if you can do it right, you can sell albums.
But let's be specific. I don't want just anybody making albums.
Hell no.
I don't want it. I'm not going to say no.
Say the names, man.
No, I'm not sending it because it's their thing in that.
I'm tired of artists just releasing albums because of label pressure. We must talk about this. Just because...
Yeah, but someone trying to get out of their label, they're all happy.
It's the contracts.
It's the
contracts.
Within their first couple of years, and then
that's another conversation. Huh?
Pounds was in the exact example of that. Pounds was on this Disturbing London. Pounds was on Disturbing London.
Was that Tiny's?
Yeah,
Tiny's thing. And I'm not sure if you saw his press run. He's saying I've been locked up for a year. They haven't released music. Wow. And saying, like they keep.
Well, I think G-Fresh explained it.
G-Fresh explained it perfectly. He said every company, especially in our field that we work in, or I won't say the field that we work in of entertainment. I just said it twice. The entertainment field have a no competition clause.
And what's that? Can you explain that for people?
The no competition clause is like if I'm signed to Empire. I could not go, in fact, see that there's only 3 labels and there's so many different, so I'll say this. If I'm signed to GRM Records, there's going to be a clause in my contract saying I cannot go to Disturbing London, I cannot go to Since 93, I can't go to any of them for like 6 months. His court clause was a year. He didn't read his contract. And G-Fresh, the whole way he explained it, I'm like, that makes sense. The same thing applies in radio. You cannot be on Capital Extra one day, then go on BBC Radio 1 Extra the next day. Only one person has ever done that. And they're to get physically removed from that building.
Oh, shit. Wait, who was it? I feel like you've told me this before.
You know who it is.
Nah, tell me.
The big dog band.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
Going in, baby.
9 to 11.
Oh,
for 60 years, man.
Hey, that guy
Who's
there.
that? Big L.A.?
I can't lie. We're so bleeping that. No, I'm joking. No.
Yeah. So, yeah, nah. Someone like that in that situation where they're now getting pressured, because I'm bringing it back now to you gave the example of Pounds, his situation, where they had to do the album thing because it's not the label saying, look, you're under contract.
I think Pounds is a dope lyricist. Again, content-wise, I can't support it, but lyrically, dope artist. He's got a style.
Okay.
He's got a style. And I think a lot of artists, once you start to reach money, you need to stop promoting the wickedness and the badness, you know? I'm tired of artists.
We've definitely said that as well, because
I'm going to continue repeat it almost every podcast.
Yeah, no.
I'm tired. Sure. And selectors are tired of playing gang drill songs. The only DJs that like it are the club DJs. The club DJs love it because quick forward, back in the dance. But fam, the gyal them don't like that. the dance is predicated on the gal there. Don't get that mixed up, you know. Like, for example, if you're in a club and you hear skilly bang, you hear skeng, the gal them can't dance to that. It's just...
Which one? Which tune?
Like, blanks, of course they got their tunes which are for the gal them, like, tell furlong, Mrs. Bunnies, that song, I can't remember, it's Curves by Skeng.
This guy, if you look at CJ, I'm blood. Soon come, you're on camera, bro.
You need a mic, bro. You're taking the piss.
We're telling you, bro. Soon come,
he needs
yeah.
a microphone.
100%, yeah. But fucking, what was he saying?
We were talking about the best route to take. And let's take it out to the original, because we've gone off topic. Let's go back to Lil Wayne, yeah?
Oh, fuck, we went way off topic. Yep.
Lil Wayne's trajectory is not the same without his mixtapes. Lil Wayne is not looked at as Lil Wayne without his mixtape series.
So you're saying his albums...
They're not bad, but they're not Lil Wayne. As in, there's man that will say Wayne is the best rapper alive, the GOAT, and mean it. They're talking about mixtape Wayne. They're not talking about album Wayne. Because he's only got a couple songs where he even reaches that level. For example, like, in terms of album Wayne, it's like, go DJ, go that my DJ. And even that can be put into question of who wrote it. But again, that's a separate conversation.
Well, I mean, if we're just talking about, like...
Just the song itself, amazing.
Yeah.
The lyrical content and everything. And a million.
Yeah.
Like, dope pieces of work. Do you get me? Like, lyrical composition, just put together nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are judging in terms of when they hear Wayne, they want to hear mixtape Wayne. Because mixtape Wayne goes crazy. I'm not sure if you ever heard a few of those songs off those mixtape, those freestyles. Bananas,
I can't even say I do.
Bananas. Bro. I can vouch for it. Bananas. And I'm not a massive Wayne fan. I'm not among those people that would put Wayne in their top 5 of all time, top 10, top 15. Because I've heard the bullshit. You can't be the best rapper of all time and simultaneously the worst. It doesn't make any sense. So some of the worst bars in the history of hip-hop have come out of the mouth of Dwayne Carter, honest.
What's an example of that?
I'm the shit. Get the fuck up on my toilet. Hot with
Yeah. Every time he brings that same example, I'm just like, rah, I can't. Yeah, he actually said that.
He's got so many I'm the shit bars that he's actually rinsed out the whole toilet. Honest. Like, he's got so many I'm the shit. The way he's referred to himself as human feces is scary.
It's a bit.
No, it's more than that, bro. It's mad.
Yeah.
So that's an artist that's capitalized off the mixtape model. Now let's talk about artists that have capitalized off the album model.
Yeah, because I feel like, and this is me speaking purely from opinion, not really like looking at facts or anything. Yeah, those are the artists where obviously it is still mainly label driven. Because I think most of the artists that I even think about now, it's come from when they've been signed and they have that backing. They might not necessarily like have, you know, execs like in the room, in the studio telling them what to do because they've established themselves to a certain point where it's like, you know, they're allowed to just be in the space. But it is still like, that's under that label. Do you know what I mean? But
I just to piggyback off that, I do believe that those artists that succeed mainly album first are not industry plants. I'm not going to call them that, but I'll call them manufactured artists. As in, they kind of were given to us and were told, he's good, support him. Whereas most of the artists that cultivated their own, created their own lane, came from previous other projects. Does that make sense? And it hasn't got to be a mixtape. Like, it could be
singles.
like an EP. I want to say it's singles. Because I think singles are not enough to prove you being a dope artist.
But they're enough to get you the buzz to stick on, and then you keep on doing more and more and more. Because let's say, I can't even think of an example within rap specifically of someone that's doing just singles and then...
There's a lot of artists just doing just singles. There's a lot.
I'm talking about someone who's done it previously and has now kind of switched into album.
Who's switched into album mode?
Yeah.
I gotta give that.
Do you know what I mean?
Of UK, yeah.
Any UK, US, anybody. Because where I'm coming from is you've separated yourself from that sort of mixtape. Obviously, mixtapes are synonymous within hip hop.
Yes.
So you doing that, it's not even just a thing of like you have to do that. It's natural for you to go, I've got so many like tracks. I'm gonna put it all in a body of work and just shift that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. But
singles. For example, Wes Nelson is a singles act. That's a singles artist.
Is it?
He's a singles artist.
No, sir, I'm saying because I wanted to keep the conversation mainly to like
like proper rappers.
Yeah, is it because
this is hard. Actual proper artists. This is difficult. So I gotta think.
You know what I mean?
Because even artists who are festival acts, so like the Thugs and Futures, put out solid bodies of work still when they want it. I'm trying to think.
Are you talking about albums?
Bodies of work. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doesn't matter if it's a mixtape. Sorry, a single. Doesn't matter if it's a mixtape, doesn't matter if it's an EP. They put out bodies of work, bro. Who is a big... I don't think you can even get to that level in hip-hop and be a singles act. It don't work.
I mean, it's a testament to what we've been talking about.
The only artists that do that are like the Flow Riders and the Pitbulls.
Oh.
They were the original singles artists.
Yeah.
Like, would sample a bait song you kind of know, flip it, and then make it into...
I want to say something now because it was bugging me when I first heard it.
Flow Rider sampled like a Etta James song. I didn't know it was Etta James. I feel so robbed, blood.
Is it the... Oh, sometimes
I didn't know.
I get a good feeling.
My Lord. That is sacrilegious. Hold tight, Flow Rider.
No, but that's not what I wanted to talk about because this is very completely unrelated, yeah. That is an example of someone that's cheating when using a sample. But there's one episode that we did, and it was the last song we recorded, where you said there was a Drake song where he took a Whitney Houston sample and he cheated. That wasn't cheating. Because the way he interpreted...
Drake did that? Or
yes.
Did I say Mr. Jam did that?
No, Drake.
Mr. Jam did that, and that is egregious.
No, I said Drake. I brought a Drake song to a conversation. It was Tuscan Leather. Tuscan Leather.
That is kind of cheating.
No.
That is
because
cheating.
you would only know that's Whitney Houston if you've like listened to like a lot of music in your time and you know Whitney Houston's voice is distinctive.
No, man. I'll tell you why.
No. Me and you know that. If we like ask you and she knows, then she knows. But
was it she?
But nah, because it's not that. Because it's her voice pitched to like a level where it's just like, oh, it's a sample. It sounds nice.
Whitney,
it sounds sweet,
man. You know how silky her voice is.
I know that, and you know that. But a general music listener is just gonna hear it and sing and hear a sweet sample. Maybe they'll go out their way and find out it's Whitney, but they won't know it.
No, but that's the casual listener thing. I don't mind the casual listening, and I agree with you to that extent. So me and you aren't really arguing. I'm saying it cut into my head when you said
I'm
saying that it's still cheating in the fact of I don't care how you use the Whitney sample. You got a Whitney sample. That is cheating.
No, because say I get a Whitney Houston sample and flip it to the point where like you don't recognize because you know about Whitney, you would know it's Whitney, but you wouldn't even know the song. That's still cheating. No, bro. That's cheating.
Bro. The same way. I can't even say this on camera because this sounds so good.
Oh shit!
Yeah. That song with that sample. I'm not gonna say where it is.
Yeah,
that's cheating.
What?
That's cheating.
You didn't even know it was them until I told you.
But do you know how massive that song is?
Yes.
Yeah, how big that song is?
Yes. But if you didn't know.
But that's me not knowing. Someone
and you are a music guy. So there we go. Your argument's now blown out the window.
Not even though, because it's still the aspect of cheating is that you've used the song and that feeling you get is a familiar feeling.
That's what you're supposed to do with a lot of like music. You're supposed to evoke some sort of feeling.
But it's not meant to be super duper. I know the song. For example,
you wouldn't.
Stunt 101. I said Stunt 101. Pump 101. I'm tired, innit? Pump 101 is the biggest cheat code of all time. Do you know how good that G-Unit beat is?
He took the beat. That's a different thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know how good that beat is?
Oh, it's
that beat is so good. It sounds like it was made yesterday.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. But the example you gave there, they've just taken the beat. That weren't even like it's just the beat.
But that's cheating.
Yeah, that is cheating.
And next one is Charlie, we got 10s and 20s. That is horrible. I'm so sorry. I love Krypton Conan, but sorry, nah, man. That is poor.
Hey, shout out Swarms.
I told you, Swarms has a mean verses for that. Swarms. Like if you're watching this, don't let anyone tell you that you've not got a mean 5 for verses. A mean 8. God, he's got a mean 8, innit? A mean 8, like a tough 8 rhythms. And features as well. Swarms has got a mean 8 for them, alive. A mean 8.
Yeah.
Now you're hating.
I'm not even hating, bro.
Laika.
How does that one go again?
Like.
Wait, I think about Bali.
No, we're talking about Laika, Swarms. This is a nice side. Oh, how does that song go?
That's in like all the songs, bro.
I don't want to talk. How does that song go? Laika. Well, Laika to Laika.
The thing is, I know the name, but
designer.
You're gonna have to play it for me, man. I don't have to do the song justice still.
Copyright, please don't copyright us.
I'm sure if you play it for a few seconds, it won't be that deep.
Let me go to the. Do you not remember that song? That was a big song.
Yeah.
That was a big song.
Are you sure?
Old though.
Yeah, but Swarms has got a mean 8 for
Before
them,
Bali or after? Because I feel like Bali
Nah, that was before Bali. That was his first one.
Okay.
Swans, brother, you got a mean 8
bro, man's not even hating, innit?
You got a mean 8 for
It was after the first one that he mentioned, I was a bit like,
I can't lie.
And that's not even your fault.
You're a hater.
It's not his fault.
It's just beat choice. After a while, it's beat choice. He's got a few. He's got Bali is one of them songs.
Bro, I'm not even hating on your thing. A big man saying
Bali is one of them songs. Like today, me being a grown man, and I don't make me run through
with a Bali.
Like I was not laughing, innit? But
no,
if that was to come on in the dance, it
bro,
gets
yeah.
I said us. Nah, 8. Does he actually have 8? Look at my line. I would love to see a UK. I hate saying verses, but actual live event, and it's not verses in it, but like song for song, sound clash.
I would see that, yeah.
Enough artists would get dubbed people still.
Enough
artists are not performers. Sorry.
In the UK? Ooh.
There's too many gangsters.
Ooh.
There's too many tugs. They're better to be like.
See the settings as well where they have like.
No, I don't mind that. Like we could deal. Us can work that out in contracts, and that's fine. I'm talking about the performances will just end up being boring.
Oh no, yeah.
That's the honest.
There's certain men that are not for the live thing, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine.
Because you man do great streaming numbers.
Words.
Money, right?
I'm saying.
You get
yours.
You lot do your thing.
Getting yours.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so easy to do that. Now, I'm doing bail on my phone. I'm so sorry. I'm saying that it's so easy now to rack up numbers. That's why artists are giving you 10, 15 projects and putting 25 songs on them and putting the song which blew on the project to increase the streams. There's so many little cheating methods. It's so much easier.
A lot of label-driven. That whole thing of like having the... Like, because it wasn't on the tape, but like... And this is a different example completely, but Hotline Bling was a single on its own that blew to the point where Drake said, hey, you know what? Views. I know it didn't come out the same here. I'm going to just slap it on the end and that's streams. Do you know what I'm saying?
Cheating. That is cheating.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That is the definition.
And many people have gone and done the same thing.
Chris Brown loves doing that. Chris Brown loves that. He's got a 50-song album.
Yeah.
Chris Breezy enough.
Breezy.
I don't know how that guy is really not cancelled for real. Honest.
I know.
Honest. Nah, honest. I'm being dead.
No,
honest. That guy. You know what's mad? This episode's been so all over the place today. That's just the vibes today. I'm just
honestly,
I'm just coming in
because it's just good to be back, man. Yeah. It's good to be back in the studio. The people, them. I
like this though, because us not haven't argued. Because I felt like if I was to argue today, I start shouting. I'm in
Bro,
that sort of mood.
I left it. I said, you know what?
In that sort of mood,
it's this time of day where it's like, nah, it's probably something mad, isn't it? Because 3 hours, gee, even I would be. If it was the other way around, it's like, yeah, man, we couldn't have that. But nah, man. I mean, I feel like okay, where we are with this conversation. Mixtapes are synonymous within, like, undisputably.
It's the backbone of hip hop culture.
And I feel like artists, UK or US, coming up, yeah, you can do the singles thing. You can try to make a name of yourself of that. You'll get buzz. You know, you'll get people talking about you. But
can you be a superstar artist via singles?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't think there's not one superstar artist that we've seen through any generation that has been a singles artist.
No.
How about you?
Now what?
Do you think that a singles artist can become a superstar?
Yeah.
A superstar?
Who's an example?
Super. Just in general, in life.
Oh, that they've never brought out a project?
No, not that. That they are reliant on singles.
Oh, they're just reliant on singles?
As in, if they do put out a project, it's meaty.
Or they've just built up a name where like singles are their thing. Do you know what I mean? Like singles.
But that's how a lot of people's methods are now.
But even then, they aren't superstars.
They might do it off the backbone of like, I've been putting out like projects from early. Back when no one was saying my name or anything. It was just like a bunch of songs that I've recorded from time. And I've now got to the point where like I've got so many of that on like SoundCloud or like wherever you get YouTube, wherever you get your music from. Enough people, if I drop a single now with a video, people are talking about me. People are reaching out, people trying to see me at shows or whatever.
I was going to say...
Recently,
I was going to say Sench, but...
Sench has 2 tapes out.
That's what I'm saying, then you talk about tapes. So.
Yeah. Because what our point is...
I'm saying his starting point was singles. That's what I was trying to get at.
But he wasn't a superstar before he dropped the tape.
Was he... The singles before, was it like... No, because then I guess what we were saying was that...
Wildest that... This is my opinion, so if you believe Central C was a superstar beforehand, I don't care, but you can definitely say it like in the comments and that. But Central C became a superstar for me when he sold out the wireless thing. When he was rocking wireless last year and I saw it with my own 2 eyes and the crowd knowing every word, him getting almost a bigger reaction than Meek Mill, fam, that's a superstar.
Was there a project before that or was it
after? The thing was called... What was the tape called? Yeah, that thing. That was out.
Wild West?
Yeah.
Okay. So before the... Okay. Yeah.
That's a superstar.
And how many tracks was on that tape?
I don't know.
We can check now.
Do we really have to?
Hey, man. Hey, man.
He's a superstar. I'm not a hater, man. Man, like Big Sench.
Wild West is 14.
We're going to go back. I'm going to put up the other clip from when he was talking about Sench.
I can stand on what I said then, though.
We got to start drilling each other out. Whenever someone says something contradicting themselves, we bring back an old clip.
I can think someone is a UK superstar and not like their music. I've never said that I like his music.
No, that's fine. No, but I meant in general. We got to do that.
I've never said... I've said Khabib is good.
Someone says something that's a bit like...
I've said Khabib is good and I said...
you need to check track 3.
Which one's that? On the tape.
On the tape.
And what's the song called? Gambis. The one speaking our language. I don't know what that song's called.
Is that with someone international?
No, it's called...
It's him.
It's called Gangbiz and it's part of his tape. Like his last tape.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, his last... Oh, okay.
He's from your ends and you don't even...
Don't do that, man. You can't be...
That's your block, nah?
Stop.
Oh yeah, I need to stop doing
Yeah, please. What's going on? Yeah. No, I mean, Central... Because because I don't even know his music like that or his background or like how he's come up. But with the project, if you've got a body of work where people can, it's a tangible body of work, people can say, yeah, we come back to that. That was an error. Then, you know, you can't really back him to say he was the singles guy like that. He's had singles.
He's definitely not a singles guy.
No.
He's a tape guy.
Yeah.
There's no UK artist that's got to that status who has just released singles. As in, even artists like Hardy Caprio had tapes from like 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get me? So
yeah.
I can't think of one artist at all who's a superstar who has just singles.
Well,
and I mean a real superstar. And I'm not talking about like the Flow Riders and that.
We don't. No. But yeah, that is to say that I guess from our point of view, it's like that mixtape.
It's a key foundation for hip hop.
It's a very, very key foundation. And even in the era where we live where like, you know, labels have got onto that game and they're trying to push you to do all of that, you've got to, as an artist, sign or not, you know, find a way to take that and go, I'm going to do my own lane and build to a point where I can have my own fan base, where they recognize me for my authenticity.
Yes.
I think authenticity is a very key thing as well, because the artists that you mentioned before, Pusha and Young Dolph as well, it's come from a real thing. You know,
that's a key point.
Whether we agree with their lifestyle or not, it's come from a place of we've had impact within our communities. Do you know what I mean? So any artist looking to build something of themselves, of a legacy.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Stop lying on songs.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, I mean, dead serious.
Yeah.
You genuinely don't have to be a bad man. You genuinely don't have to be a Gyalis. You genuinely haven't had to sold 10 million bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Please just be yourself. You can build your own cult fan base from doing you the realest. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And these people need to stop telling people that stuff don't sell. We dictate the market.
Yep.
We dictate the market 100%.
Yeah. You can, you might not. And that's not to say it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I'm not saying that to bore anybody, but it's a thing where like once you've gone through that experience and you've discovered whether or not it is for you, at least you, at the very least, you know that your thing was there and it was you. Do you know what I mean? Which is what you would want from this music thing. Because I feel like the people now that are making the music and are sort of just putting it out for the sake of putting it out, they're kind of in that cycle. We're talking about the people that maybe have signed the thing and it's like, oh, I'm now stuck in this deal. I've got to make all of this music and I don't like it.
Please read your contract as well.
Who was the example? When we had that discussion between the Joe Budden episodes, it was Aaaaaand and then there was another one that he reviewed, that they were talking about. Rod Wave.
I hated how they
handled that bad. That's a separate conversation, but what they were saying about Rod Wave, or what Rod Wave had said about his thing, where he said...
He said, I felt like I sold my soul.
Wow. And I feel like those are the people that they're not doing it for the sake of... Well, okay, for his situation,
you can really tell
he loves music, but it's also like, there's the money thing, there's the bringing my family in, there's the friends, everybody that he's trying to do it for, it now takes away from the music and makes it so that, because he knows what sells and he knows how to write music that will sell, he's doing that rather than, maybe he doesn't want to do that kind of music. Maybe he wants to do something else. I don't know his situation. I don't know what it's like, but that's where you're going to be stuck and that's where you're going to feel like that. He sold his soul. That's a mad statement to make, you know?
It's how much creative control you have in your contract. Again, that's another factor that we have to look at, is how much creative control does he have? Because if he's telling us that a song is getting put out and he hates it, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
An artist shouldn't hate the music that gets put out. The same thing happened with Tiana Taylor and her album, because there was a bag of samples that couldn't get cleared, and the album she had.
The one was the 7-track one.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the same time as Daytona.
Oh, okay.
And that whole Kanye 7-track
the rollout
era.
thing. Yeah.
And she hated it because that the original album that she had on her phone didn't sound like the finished version.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happens with samples, innit? You gotta get them cleared.
Yeah.
And also, it's a Kanye West project. If you think he's not gonna have last say on everything, you're crazy.
100%.
You're mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You
Yeah.
know what? For the first episode back,
That was calm, bro.
it went up, down, all around. Still.
Wait. But yeah, this has been the Experimentation podcast. I'm glad to be back.
Indeed.
You glad to be back?
Oh, 1,000%.
This guy right here, oi, hey.
It's a brand new setup, so I'm still adjusting.
We're adjusting, but nah, honestly, here's to many more.
Here's to many more, my brother. Yeah.